My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And this is a continuation of a special series I'm doing on medicine. And today I'm humbled and honored to have Liz Dobbins with me. Liz Dobbins is a modern day medicine woman, and I had the great fortune meeting her 10 years ago. And it's because of her that I started to really dive in and open up my power. And so I am so humbled to have you here, Liz. It is such a great honor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been so wonderful to watch you just bloom and bloom and bloom so many times over our years together that we've known each other.
Well, you have become, I've watched you, the power and grace that you're moving in life it's breathtaking. And I'd like to share with me what you're up to these days.
What I'm up to these days. Thank you for that question. I'm up to, my life's path, my life's work has been all about working with spirit and transformation. And that started in my 20s. And once I started, I never looked back. And so through the course of my life, I did lots of different models of spirit, lots of different models of personal growth. And then as a result of an accident, a freak accident that I was in 2021, it took me completely out of my life and myself, my ego, my identity of who I once thought I was. And this was all necessary, and it was beautiful. It was humbling. It was scary. It was the scariest thing I've ever walked through. And this went on for about a year. And the only thing that I can describe during that time is that I went into the underworld. And inside of the underworld, I learned things about the spirit and the psyche that I had never, ever had access to prior to this experience. And when I came out of this underworld, what I knew is that I had to, I knew that I was being shaped for something different. And I know now for sure that any person that undergoes an accident or a disease state and I'd always known this is what I practiced in my office for so many years, but we are supposed to go through the underworld and be reshaped for a greater contribution of our soul's gifts. And when I came out of that period, what I knew is that I was supposed to bring in wildly beautiful, deliciously sacred ways for the feminine to heal. And so
when you said that, I had to put my hand in my heart. And you just said for the sacred women, the divine feminine to heal. And what do you see the divine feminine needs to heal? Share your wisdom around that.
So because of the patriarchy, there has been such a deep oppression of the true feminine spirit. And when we start to do the reclamation of our holiness, and when I say holiness, it's WHOLINESS, holiness of ourselves. When we start to reclaim that, we start to walk through the world with reverence for ourselves in a different way. The depth of our self-love comes on board in such a way that we are able to walk with our little girl who was so wounded. Every woman has a story about her little girl that was not seen, I've worked with hundreds of women at this point, and whether it be she wasn't loved the right way, she has sincere trauma that she experienced, she was abandoned, all the things that we can go back and heal and heal and heal. Our life becomes a walking, beautiful prayer from that healing.
Okay. You have to say what you mean. When I laugh like that, I hear truth. And when you said it can be a walking prayer, can you say what you see, what that is to you? Because I can feel the divinity in it.
It's like when a woman starts, like I said, she's doing her holy work, WHOLI, holy. When she's doing her holy work and she's spending the time in sisterhood, learning the power of ritual and learning the power of being witnessed and seen, something deeply changes within her. She becomes more creative. She becomes more grateful, more graceful, more authentic. She steps more into her power. It's like it's the skin, like I often see the skin of a snake just shedding off. She just starts to shed what is not hers. She releases the cloaks of shame and guilt and the imprint that the culture has had on her, and she reclaims what I call her holy wild. So inside of that spirit, she knows that her body is hers. It is hers. It's the oracle to her spiritual truth. And the more deeply that she can dive into this truth body that she houses, the more that she can unpack and unveil more of herself, like with capital S. And so, I worked in so many different dimensions with people. I mean, just from straight up personal growth, from the spiritual realm to the body realm, somatics, all of it. And what I see now is that it's almost just like every woman has this body of poetry inside of her.
Okay, that was beautiful. Just keep going.
And so the more that she can reveal these beautiful truths and these beautiful healings and these beautiful self-appreciations within herself, she just walks differently through her life. She has more compassion. She has more, more ability to love the parts of herself that it may have been hard to love before going into this depth within herself, So that's, I guess it's like, that's kind of what I'm up to now. I mean, as far as like when I'm bringing women together, it's like, it's all about the ceremony. It's all about going through these processes in life that at one point were expected. When we were in indigenous cultures, you were expected to go through the underworld more than once in your life. You were expected to come back and give greater contribution and to become a different person. They had ceremony around the deaths of these versions, that you lived that version out. Now it's time for your next act, and just like these deep wells of feeling that the feminine feels. Like we feel like the ecstasy of being just so in tune, and like how we have such deep, powerful intuition, and like we know beyond our knowing. And then at the same time, we have like the experiences that are harder, like grief and these harder emotions, grief and rage, and these darker, harder emotions that also are sacred to our growth. Each one of them takes us to a new depth within our being. And so, I'm all about women learning how to move through these portals, through ceremony, through being witnessed, through turning their story into something that is beautiful and poetic and almost mythological, in the way that we started as spirit. We are spirit. Everything else in between is just us performing as a human.
You said something, and you said it again, and I'd like you to talk about the power of witnessing and being witnessed in the feminine, and what's been missing, and the power, and like what you see around that.
Being witnessed, that is when I started learning the power of being witnessed. I was like, this is going to change every woman that I ever come into contact with that chooses to work with me. This is going to change them. And the power of being witnessed is our truth gets revealed and validated.
Oh, you got to hold on one second. I just have to take a breath on that, because what you just said is so powerful. The truth gets revealed and revered. Okay, thank you.
It does. And then it becomes the sacred to that woman. And it is sacred to the women that witness. That's what I've seen, is that when the women that are witnessing another woman speaking her truth, they too are touched spiritually by that.
There's something you see in here, and I'm going to pull on it, because I can feel what's missing in our culture. I can feel what's missing in the divine feminine is this.
Yeah.
And I can see that you see it so clearly and bring it.
It is, ever since my experience through the underworld and the visions that I was having and the direct downloads from spirit during that time, I knew it was my work to bring beautiful ways for women to heal through ceremony together. Like, that is my work. That is part of my work. And I will say that my vision that I'm, working on now is that I want to see hundreds of women together in these ceremonies, being witnessed, watching how they become more powerful, more authentic, more expressed, more able to do the things in their lives that they never thought they could do, because they have liberated themselves from the things that don't belong on their backs.
I'm laughing because I just have this image of like backpacks of crap
Yes.
being removed.
Yes. Yes.
We don't even know that's there. Like, we're carrying this backpack with all this weighted stuff that we don't even know that's there.
Yes. And, I will share that, I just hosted a retreat in Sedona a few weeks ago, and our final ceremony was so powerful in the way that I know that each woman was, I'm an edge seeker, and I believe that a lot of beautiful transformation and spiritual growth happens on the edge. And so when I'm working sometimes in my containers, it's just kind of like, okay, so this is going to be big energy. Let's work with it. Let's all see what we can alchemize here. And I was really curious as to how this final ceremony was going to go, because I knew it was kind of going to be stretching people to their edge. And what I saw and what we all witnessed was, when women had the opportunity to participate in that ceremony, we all just watched how each woman became, as she was like getting these stories and getting this, like what we were working with, off her back, and watching her expand into 10 times the octane of her fullness. I was like, this is why we need to be witnessed in ceremony right here. Because each one of them walked away in more of her power, more of her beauty, more of her authenticity, giving, way less care about what she'd been conditioned to be, do, say, or have, into more of like, this is my truth here.
It's almost like, because I can feel it inside myself right now. It's like women, myself, we're so parched that we don't even know what being seen feels like. And then it feels scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced that.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. Yes. I mean, I will be honest. I am terrified by life. I am terrified by life. I think life is terrifying. There is so much that, I mean, it's like this whole thing where it's like you have so much beauty and things that just take our breath away, from just the beauty of a flower or a moment with a loved one or witnessing something gorgeous. And then just the other parts of just like, oh my God, there's also so many things that are just really scary. And so it's like being able to, straddle those two things, and learn how to walk with it. I mean, that's like such a big theme of what I'm about, is learning how to walk with different things. But yes, when a woman is learning how to be deeply vulnerable and to show herself, it is, I mean, it's just like the energy that's present when a woman is stepping into new territory of her vulnerability. It's palpable in the room. And it's, again, you know what I mean?
I do. I'm feeling it right now in this conversation. And what I'm feeling, and you talked about it earlier, like women feel shame. And like shame for being seen.
Shame for everything, Anna. We feel shame about our bodies. We feel shame about our desires. We feel shame about our success. We feel shame about our non-success. We feel shame about the way that we parent or mother. We feel shame about the way that we daughter or partner. I mean, like the culture, I mean, when we do work around shame, it's just amazing what gets unpacked. Women have shame about who they were as a child.
I'm sorry, that is like crazy talk.
But it's true. I can't tell you how many times people will come forth and they'll be like, I couldn't save my mom. I have guilt and I have shame about that.
Oh, that kind of, I thought of just being a child. Oh my God.
Or they have.
I'm wondering if it's just shame about being a woman, period.
Shame about being a woman. The patriarchy has painted us to be dirty, witches. Oh my God, you name it. We've had that stamp put on us, If you're a woman who enjoys her body, then you are considered a whore. If you're a woman that just, is in her power, then you're considered, every word, a bossy. I don't want to go into a bunch of swearing tangents on your podcast, but you know what I mean? We get called all the names if we actually embody our fullness. And so that's why we have to, I just feel like when we do this in sisterhood and we like make these, it's so different when you do it in ceremony and you're healing in sisterhood and being witnessed. It's like putting on a beautiful silk kimono that was always yours.
Oh my God. It's so funny. Liz, right now when I'm talking to you, is I can feel the beauty, the natural beauty, the internal beauty that you emanate. Like, that poetry, that beautiful poem that you are, like it got liberated.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what I feel is that's that inner beauty, that inner power, that inner whole thing that is what you're up to these days, is doing that for others too.
Anna, you nailed it on the head. That is absolutely my mission and purpose, is to lead women into this beautiful experience. Like I feel blessed that I honestly, I just feel so much beauty in my life, so much. And it feels exquisite. And I'm just like, how can I teach this? How can I help women find this? And I know that it starts with the inside.
And I feel it in you. And can you just share in your, since 2021, like how that has grown for you.
Well, like I said, I mean, I had no idea that I was going to be as injured as I was. And I had no idea that I was going to have the levels of pain and neurological things that I went through, and then my brain not working properly, and all the things that happened as a side effect, and how humbling that was. And at the same time, I was going into these states of being where I was being transported. I mean, I would be like meditating in my house at like 5 a.m. and sitting in darkness. And then I would be going through these light portals and being rewired by spirit. I mean, it was so wild and so beautiful. And that's all I could do was trust that spirit had me. Like I had to surrender on such a deep level. And it was scary. I mean, it was scary times. I can't even tell you how terrifying it was. That's what I mean when I say life is terrifying. That was terrifying for me. I'd be like, just thinking that I was on my way to healing, and then I would have these massive curveballs that were setting me way back. I mean, it was a whole thing. But I got in so close with myself during that time that I had nothing else but I could do but to look at my darkest wounds and traumas and shadows and really work with them. And, my life's path has been, I've experienced plenty of trauma, and I've always known, like, it's never happened to me, it's happened for me. And I know that,
That's why I love you.
It's like, it's true. I mean, it's just so that we can contribute more. In this particular phase of life, during that time period, what I was being shown was so much beauty. Like, that's the thing that was like slaying me, is that I was in this dark, dark, dark place, but yet I was being shown so much beauty and love. And, and so I just really got that, this is what we need as a culture. We need the feminine to live in her sacred beauty and to experience that. And it's a mirror first. Oh. And, it's like really tuning into this exquisiteness that is your own soul getting guided and rocked by spirit, depending on what part of life you're in. And like embracing that unique signature that is yours.
When you're talking, what I can feel in you, Liz, is that you got into the marrow of your light.
It was
darkness.
It was very, very deep. I mean, it was very deep time of surrender, And I made a commitment with spirit during that time. I said, if you can get me out of this, if I make it through this light, this portal, this thing that I'm in, I promise to come back and create something really magical for women.
Which you are.
Working on it.
Well, I think it's happening based on some of the rumors that I've heard. It's so funny. The other thing I want to share with you as I sit here with you and feel your power and feel what you have to offer is I'm wearing jeans and I just want to go get something soft to match what's inside. Because that's what I can feel in you. Yeah. Like it doesn't match.
Is that
funny? That makes sense.
I so get it. You just want it all to feel good. You're like, good. I so get that. Oh my God.
But that's, so Liz, this is the beauty of you, is there are people who, this is your magic. So it's one thing to talk and do it, but it's another thing to embody it.
Thank you.
And you're embodying what you're teaching. And I can feel like, I'm just like, God, go get me silk pants now.
Yes, do that. Yes.
I have them. I'm going to go. But I'm saying like it's to be in your presence is the gift, is to know you're emanating the softness of the feminine. And it's breathtaking. Mm-hmm. And that's what women are longing for, is that softness of who they are, the malleable, the expansive, whatever we are inside.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I really, really love shepherding women through their shadows, through their stories, through whatever it is that is prohibiting them from really having their signature fully expressed and coherent in the field.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, we're coming to the end of our podcast, which I hate. Can't believe fastest 30 minutes ever. How do people find you? This will be all linked in the bio, but how do people connect with you if they're blessed enough to get their presence? If you're a woman, run to Liz. Go. How do they find you?
I have a website. drlizdobbins.com, and I'm on Instagram under the.holy.wild. And where else am I? I'm just recently gone on the one,
Facebook.
No,
Facebook who knows? Oh, I know which one. The TikTok.
TikTok. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on that too. But yeah, so anyways, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a delight. I just feel like that we just kind of both just jumped into the quantum field together and got to feel and, just moved through it together and feel like we just had an experience.
Well, I know I did. I went different experience. So thank you. It's an honor. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you for what you're doing for humanity.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.